Well, joining us now is Marlins number six prospect, 20-year-old southpaw who was traded from San Diego to Miami back on July 30th. It's Robby Snelling and Robbie Stevenstrom here, Kyle Seeloff there. Let me start here with you. Forget the baseball side of things. What kind of human are Marlins fans getting in Robby Snelling?
I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I take pride in how, people describe me as a player, but more so as a human. And just somebody that's super dedicated and off the field will do his best to, get away from baseball and just be a nice person in general. But when I'm on the field, I'm a competitor that just respects the game, respects the guys that are playing it, and just has a lot of fun with it.
What's been the transition like to Double A Pensacola?
It's been awesome. Like we were talking about before this, like getting back with old teammates that got traded prior to my trade. That's been great to be able to see them again. And then, making the new relationships with not only the players on the team, but also new coaches and a new staff and new front office. A whole lot of new experiences for sure. So, and I think that's good. I mean, I'm not a person that, feels like I get complacent in any place that I'm at, but change definitely helps people and allows you to, learn how to, interact with a different group of people.
Hey, Robbie, at 20 years old to get traded, that's pretty crazy, obviously. Padres fans were hopeful to see you one day, and I know that we're all now really excited to see you in Miami. But getting traded comes with new philosophies, learning new things, maybe different systems put in place. Is that difficult, or do you, obviously, I suppose, just really try to embrace that as much as you can and not fight that in effort to get better?
Yeah, no, I definitely think that it's a huge learning process, just in this short amount of time that it's been since I got traded. Um, yeah, obviously there's different coaching ideas and different like thoughts about, organization to organization. And you have to do your best as a player to understand that as much as things might be different, it's still your career and breaking it down as much as you want and trying to listen to everybody and please everybody, that can get you in some tough spots. So, doing your best to sift through what's going to work best for you, no matter what the ideas are, organization to organization, just trying to bring your game over and, allow it to correlate the best that it possibly can.
Hey, let's go back here. I know Stephen and I were reading some of the same things about you, Robbie. Growing up in Nevada, it's been a hotbed for baseball. A lot of people would initially think Bryce Harper. I think Chris Bryant as
Yeah.
well. Gatorade State Player of the Year, multi-sport athlete. I guess we'll work from way back here and get to where you are now. But how much consideration was there? Obviously, at one point, you committed to play two sports at the University of Arizona. At what point did you really have to make a decision that I'm going to entertain baseball? Because it sounds like you were one heck of a football player as well.
Yeah, growing up, I mean, I was in a football family. A lot of people ask me, how tough the decision was, what led me to pick baseball. Honestly, growing up, football is what I thought I was going to do, and baseball was just something that I kind of did just, to take up the time and allow me to stay active. But with my dad being a football coach, my grandpa was a football coach, my uncle played football. That was the route that I thought I was going to take. And so being around football players and being on a football field my entire life, it was just kind of instilled in me that that's what I was going to do. But baseball really started to separate itself as, I continued to play it and, people telling me what the possibilities were for me in baseball. And it really just kind of it was a tough decision for sure, but it just separated itself from football and it was a lot of hard thinking for me to think about, how is my body going to hold up after my career's done compared to football, the health side of it was a huge choice for me also, and it really kind of boiled down to I enjoyed being on the baseball field a lot more.
What kind of football player were you? You played linebacker?
Yeah, I was a linebacker and I played some quarterback in high school too, but it was more of a linebacker playing quarterback, just like to run the ball and then I'd I'd throw it deep. But
You got to be a little quirky, a little psycho to play linebacker.
a little bit, yeah, yeah. I think a lot of my friends and teammates from high school would definitely describe me as that.
And you kind of hope that translates because you kind of have to be like that with, especially as a starter.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that I do a pretty good job. That was something that I had to learn too once I got drafted was being able to rein in, it's okay to go out there and have the competitiveness and kind of the chip on your shoulder like a linebacker would do. It's okay to do that on the mound too, but I had to understand the right spots when that side of me can come out. So, a lot of the learning for me on the pitching side was like refining and learning how to be a pitcher instead of somebody that just tries to throw everything by guys. And so I think that I had the right coaching staff behind me, both with the Padres and then also it's been a great experience coming over here and the people that I've talked to have just allowed me to continue to learn and grow in that aspect of the game.
Robbie, you grew up in an athletic family, obviously, but the baseball side of it, you thought you were going to play football. Did you kind of teach yourself this baseball thing? I mean, you're a big dude, 6'3", 210. Did it come easy? Was there anybody in particular you leaned on that kind of pushed you towards the baseball route and then obviously progressed you throughout your career?
My dad did the best that he could while I was growing up. He played baseball in high school too. He was a really good athlete at everything he did in high school. My grandpa played baseball also, in high school and in college. And so it's just like, you know, I had a good support system, but it got to a point where the stuff that I was playing and the higher levels that I got to, they weren't really able to, tell me what I can fix and what I can change to get me to the next level. And so I had a pitching coach growing up. I started pitching lessons with him when I was about 12 or 13.
Hmm.
And and he pitched in the MLB, pitched for Blue Jays, Tigers, and then he pitched in Japan for a pretty long amount of time. And so he was a great soundboard for me to be able to go to, and he helped me with anything that I might have been struggling with, and then also what the guys at the next level are looking for out of a pitcher.
I should ask actually I should ask guys this more often because I've run into a lot of guys over my years with the Marlins that don't really like baseball. They're just really good at it. You grew up in a football family. Did you love baseball or were you just good at it and football was always on in the fall?
No, I loved it. I love everything that has a competitive nature behind
Mhm.
it. So, that fell into me loving baseball also. I mean, I was talking to a couple of my buddies that are on this team now. They got traded with me from the Padres, and it was just like it's crazy that, you grow up playing a game and you love a game and now we're getting paid to play it. It's a crazy concept. And I always try and when I go out onto the field for our practice before the games, and even when I go out onto the mound, it's just like it's just a game. Like we're just playing a game, and I'm not at the level yet to where I'm able to get as frustrated and like let it consume me. As compared to until it's like the make or break and an end of a career type of thing. But I mean, that's the way that I try and look at it to kind of ease my mind.
Robby Snelling with us now on Long Toss. And now let's talk about the individuals that you were traded with from San Diego. Adam Major, who debuted, Graham Pauley, and Jay Bashirs. Who are you closest with, and can you just describe your relationships with all three of them?
I'm close with all three of them. I mean, Graham Pauley's my roommate right now. Adam Major lived with me in spring training, and so I mean, first of all, just great humans. Like I think that's the biggest thing about those three guys. It's just like what you're getting from them, and it's just great human beings first and foremost, and then they're just really gifted baseball players. So I mean, I enjoy spending time with all three of them. I didn't get to be around Brashears as much, but the instances where I was around him in spring training this last year, just nothing but good things to say about him.
Is there, I'm sorry, Kyle, real quick, just with AJ Preller, there has to be a little bit of a weariness when you do get drafted by San Diego because he's just been so known to like wheel and deal prospects. Is that fair to say?
I would say so. I mean, from the track record of it, but I mean, you also see at what he's trying to do, and he's trying to do the best for the organization, and trying to make a lot of people happy, and that's a tough position to be in. And all the interactions that I've had with him and the conversations I've had with him have all been great, and I really appreciate the way he treats every player in the organization, not just the big leaguers, but the minor leaguers as well. I mean, nothing but good things to say about him.
Hey, what kind of tattoos do you have, Robbie? Do you care to share? I saw when you
Yeah.
lifted your arm up.
Yeah, so I have the God is greater than the highs and lows. I put it on the inside of my bicep because it's always touching
Oh,
my body, so like close to my heart. And then I got my dogs on my forearm
what
with
kind of
late
dogs you got? Hold on before we
my
continue.
so this was the smaller one was my first dog that I ever had, yellow lab. His name was Tuck, and then I just
Oh,
got a dog this last off season, a black lab.
oh,
His name's Diesel. He's up in hunting
Diesel.
school right now in Idaho. So excited for the off season to be able to get
oh,
back.
hold on. I hate to deviate, Stephen.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I grew up on farmland back home myself, Robbie. So I would love to hear more about your hunting.
Oh yeah, a lot of
Whitetail. What are you hunting?
so we have mule deer up in Nevada. And then, I'll go in California too. That's where my grandparents live. But
Hmm.
my dad drew a hunting tag for mule deer up in eastern Nevada this year. So we're gonna be going up there and that'll be fun. But a lot of waterfowl hunting and turkey hunting and just stuff to be able to get the mind off of, stressful life and being able to spend time with my family that way.
What's Diesel retrieving? Is he duck hunting?
Yeah,
Goose
he's
hunting?
gonna duck and goose, and then I'm gonna start training him for pheasant hunting too. So
Ooh,
yeah,
very nice.
Kyle
I
has a
like
cat.
that.
what's
Well,
that?
yes, I do. I have a pet. I mean, I have a cat, but that
Yeah.
has nothing. But I grew up on farmland and I hunted growing up, so I love it when we have players come through that are interested in some of the things
Oh
I'm
yeah,
interested in. So that's great. I love to hear that.
yeah.
Well, let's see what else here. You know what? I was going to ask you. There's a lot of starting pitchers that are a totally different human 4 out of the 5 days of the week. When it's your day to start, do you go to a crazy place? Because I ask because you did mention, you're trying not take this too serious is probably the wrong way to put it, but you try to have an understanding and play where your feet are a little bit here. Like what kind of place do you get to on the days you're pitching?
I really just try and stay consistent,
Mm.
as much as I can throughout the week. A lot of my like Graham will say it all the time because he was with me all of last year at all three levels that we went to. And he thinks it's hilarious that a lot of pitchers, a lot of starters do go to a different place and they're a completely different person on their start day, whether it's they don't want to talk to anybody or they kind of change their mood throughout the day. And he thinks it's hilarious how I just, I'm the same person every day, and then I go out, and when I step across the line on the field, it's like a switch gets flipped, but then when I'm right back across the line, another switch gets flipped, and it's like I'll be in the dugout, and it's not a deal where nobody can talk to me. Like I'll be up on the rail, and I'll talk to guys, and I'll talk to my pitching coaches, and loving up everybody when it's due. But I think that also helps with me not thinking too much during the game too, and just being able to, if you gave up a hit on a pitch that you placed wrong the inning before, you're not dwelling on it and you're not thinking about it too much because that inning's over. There's nothing you can change about it. And, just attacking the next hitters that come up.
Robbie, you got actually the chance to meet, you didn't know at the time, but your potential teammates in Thomas White and Noble Meyer at
Yeah.
the Futures game. How was
Yeah.
that? And did you guys have conversation?
Yeah, we did. That was a really fun game. I mean, I think all of our lockers were in a row. So it was Noble, Thomas, and I. And I mean, we talked the entire time. We were in the bullpen together, in the locker room together. Pitchers are kind of, they run in a gang, so that's really what we were doing. And just talking about different things. We actually talked about different things organizationally, like how the Marlins differed from the Padres and doing like the specific things that they had us doing at the Padres that they had them doing at the Marlins. And it was really interesting to see, the two sides of both of the orgs.
Can
How
you
close
share?
do you feel like you are to the big leagues?
That's that's another thing where, I like to be where my feet are.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm confident in my abilities and I really feel like I could go up there right now and be a contributor. But I also don't want to go up there knowing that I'm not ready. And
Right.
so it's more of a deal and a mindset for me of like I want to go up there and stay up there. I don't want it to be where I go up, they're gonna send me back down, and then you're kind of on that taxi squad. I don't want that. So I want to be able to go up there and prove that I'm going to stay up there for quite some time.
Robert, do you mind sharing just some of the conversations that you've had throughout the organization, whether that's with Peter, Rachel, whoever it may be, since you've gotten here?
Yeah, just explaining that they're happy to have me. Being able to get in contact with Peter was huge, and just hear what potential plans that they had, and be able to put a sound of a voice to a name. I haven't met him in person yet, but the phone call that I had with him was good, and just letting him know, or him letting me know that they're happy to have me, and that it was a good trade for them.
Are you surviving the Pensacola heat? How are you handling it?
I think my body loves it. I think,
Does it?
yeah. I mean, I'm sweating a lot for sure, but just brings hydration and getting your electrolytes in just that much more important. But yeah, I mean, body's definitely staying loose, and it's always good to be able to go into a game, and when you're sitting down in the dugout, you're not necessarily getting cold. You're continuing to sweat. So, I've enjoyed it so far.
Hey, you're only 20 years old, so I guess you did and did not grow up with the Las Vegas Raiders. Who was your football team growing up?
We were a 49er family. Yeah.
Oh,
Grandparents are from San Francisco or around there. And you know, my dad coached Brandon Ayuk in high school.
oh, he did.
Yeah, yeah.
How's
So
he feel about the current situation? Are we getting a deal
it's
done?
I have no idea. I have no idea. He doesn't really share that type of stuff with us. So but I mean, we were Niners fans before Brandon got drafted, but I mean, still super cool to see him go to them, and for us to be able to cheer him on Sundays.
What was your dad like as a football coach?
Um, a lot of people have a lot of different explanations of the type of coach he was. I thought he did a great job of separating the dad role from being a coach.
He got
So,
he got into you from time to time.
yeah. I mean, when it needed to happen, but it was never a point where something would happen at practice and we go home to dinner that night and it's a silent dinner. We didn't have any of those. It
Yeah.
was he did a great job, and fortunately we had a really good team all 4 years of my high school career, and
How many
you
games
know
you lose? That was a humble brag, and I need to ask, how many games did you lose?
our senior year I think we lost two, and then we lost in state. No, yeah, two. We lost two my senior year, so lost one in regular season and then the state game.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah, but we had to play Bishop Gorman, so that's not a very fun
Oh,
team
Who
to
was who
play.
was the quarterback? Who are some of the guys that we should know now?
Uh,
Tate Martell.
Tate Martell was not there. He was a couple years before my time. Zachariah Branch was at Gorman that year. He's at USC right now. He's a freak. Probably one of the best high school players I've seen on a football
wow.
field. Um,
Good tight end program. They produce a lot
yeah,
of tight ends.
really, really good tight ends, and then really, really good offensive tackles. Their first touchdown that they scored in the state game, they gave the ball to, I think this guy was like had to have been like 6'7", probably 350. Gave the ball to him at fullback, and they were on the 3 yard line, and he just plowed in. That was a
Ouch.
career decision for me where I was just like, I'm not like, there's no reason to get in
That's a
front of that.
business decision,
Yeah,
and you made the right
yeah,
one, Robbie.
yeah.
The Brandon Ayuk nugget was good. Are you going to tell me you spend Thanksgiving with the Harpers? You know anybody else out there? You know what?
No,
You
that's
know
that's
anybody else?
That's probably the coolest one that I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was your guy growing up from a baseball perspective?
So Mad Bum was a guy that I watched a lot. So I mean, 49ers and then the Giants were the two teams that we really watched professionally while I was growing up. And my grandpa in particular, always comparing me to Bumgarner. I hit righty, so that was a big comparison. Also, but just a big country boy, and just liked blowing it by guys.
Wait, you were a good
Kyle, I
hitter too,
got
I saw.
Kyle,
I
I
was
got.
pretty good in high
Go ahead.
school. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Did you consider? Oh, sorry, Stephen. Go
I
ahead.
have a question, and this I don't want this to come off as stupid, but you killed it offensively in high school, right? And the home run derby, also. Why don't? Was there ever any consideration to try to play both?
Yeah, that was my question. If you were gonna try to
There
do
was
both.
there was consideration, but if I was going to be playing football too, like that's crazy to the amount of time that it takes, just to be a professional caliber pitcher, which is what I would want to be going to
Sure.
college. And the amount of time that it takes to put in to be that, and then also if I was to play football, the amount of time it would take to be a standout guy on the football team at it was a demanding position to be a linebacker. I mean, that's a pretty big role on a defense. Um, being a hitter, just trying to do all of that, that's something that, I wasn't quite gifted enough to be able to do.
I don't have anything else, Stephen and Robbie. Not that you need to hear this from me, but I will tell you, this is a really exciting time for the organization, man. It's been a really long time since we've had some top-notch prospects, and a couple of them are already up here with Stowers and Norby on the offensive side of things, and
Right.
some really good pitchers. So I'll just say I'm pumped to see some of you guys in the years ahead, man. I think this organization is headed in the right direction. Peter's doing a great job, and you guys are going to make for a very bright future and a lot of people happy down here in South Florida.
I agree. Thank you.
Thanks for the time, Robbie.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.